First meeting of the Cookeville City Council to order. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilman Anderson.
Present.
Councilman Shelton. Mayor Salee.
Present.
Vice Mayor Davis.
Present.
Councilman Williams.
Present.
All present?
No.
No. 4 present, 1 absent.
Thank you, Kathy. Out of respect for Councilman Shelton, we'll recognize his absence. If we could all rise for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, Mr. Shipley, do we have any additions or corrections to the agenda this evening?
There are no changes, but I did want to announce that we did have to postpone the public hearing on the McCulley Road and Springboro Road rezoning till April the 15th. We neglected to run the public notice for that public hearing 15 days in advance of the hearing, which is required by state law. We did post it on our website. There was a story in the paper. We did a reverse 911 call to that area, and did everything we knew how to do to notify people that the public hearing had been postponed.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Shipley. Do we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and second. Any discussion by the council? Seeing none, all vote.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Shipley. Now to the old business portion. We only have one item. Item 2, consider approval of minutes of council meeting held March the 4th. Do we have a motion and a second to approve those minutes?
Move approval. Second.
Have our motion and second. Any discussion on the minutes? Any comments from the audience? Seeing no comments, I'll vote.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
Now to the new business portion of our meeting. Item 3, consider awarding the bid for fire hoses. Fire Department sponsor Chief John Kendrick.
Evening, Mayor and Council. What I have before you is a bid for fire hose with the lowest bidder median evaluated specs was MES. There is a company that is lower than that, but their bid was not for all the varieties of hose that we bid, and we bid it as a complete package. Therefore, I recommended MES.
All right. Thank you, Chief. Do we have a motion and second to approve?
Move for approval.
Second.
A motion and second. And discussion by the council? Are these replacement hoses for old hoses that being
Most of
retired?
this is replacement. Some of it is spare hose so that we maintain our ISO requirements for so much spare hose carried for each truck.
Okay.
Some of the reserve apparatus hose is coming up on 8 and 10, and we're having to start planning on replacing it.
Okay. And all of our trucks are, I mean, we've had a couple of new trucks. Everything's equipped.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any further discussion by the council? Any comments from the audience? Seeing none, all vote.
Thank
4
you.
yes votes, motion carries.
Thank you, Chief. Item 4, consider awarding bid for laptop computers. Police Department sponsor Chief Bob Terry.
Mayor and Council, I'll represent the Police Department this evening. We recently solicited bids for laptop computers to be purchased on a burn grant. The grant in an amount of $11,450 was awarded last year, with $4,000 of that going to the Putnam County Sheriff's Department. We received 2 bids, and as you can see up there, the low bid, we recommend approval of $762.49 from Dell.
All right. Thank you, Captain Evans. Do we have a motion and a second to approve?
So moved.
Second.
A motion and second. Any discussion by the council? Any comments from the audience? Seeing no discussion, I'll vote.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Captain. Item 5, consider awarding bid for vehicles. The Water Quality Control Department sponsor, Mr. Ronnie Kelly.
Mayor and council, we recently opened 2 budgeted vehicle bids and would recommend the low bidder meeting specs. Alexander Automotive on the first one pickup, $14,911, and Alexander on the second pickup, $18,815, and would recommend your approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kelly. Do we have a motion and second to
Move
approve?
approval. Second.
We have a motion and second. Discussion by the council? These half-tons are trucks, have we explored the opportunity of buying smaller pickups, or?
We have bought some, like the foreman supervisor trucks. They're a smaller type vehicle where they're running a lot. These are just replacing service type trucks.
Okay. And it is just for the 2 vehicles, and one regular and one 4x4?
Yes.
Okay.
But you did say both these were budget items.
Yes, yeah, we budgeted 3, and we looked at it, and we thought we could get by with just getting 2 this year and postponed one of them.
Okay.
And they're good prices. State bids were, on that half-ton was 17.8, and on the 4x4 was 20,167. We figured if we wait till later in the season, we get better prices than the state bid, so that's what we try to do.
Okay. Very good.
That is a local dealer too, right?
Yeah, the Alexander.
Yeah.
They own all the dealerships, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they own a lot.
All right, any further discussion, any comments from the audience? Seeing no discussion, all vote.
Thank you.
4
Thank you,
yes
Mr.
votes,
Kelly.
motion carries.
Item 6, consider approval of proposal for the banking services for all departments. Sponsor, Mr. Mike Davidson.
Mayor and council members, back in the 1st of March, we opened proposals on banking services. We sent those to all the local banks, and we received 3 proposals back, one from Regions, First Tennessee, and U.S. Bank. Pretty much all the requirements we asked for were met by all 3 of the banks. We kind of narrowed it down looking at the fees that were quoted by each of the banks plus the interest that they would pay us on any funds deposited. After going through all that and analyzing it, looking back at our last 12 months of transactions, it looks like that Regions Bank would be the bank that I'd recommend. And we've had service with Regions Bank for the last 2.5 years also, since they merged with Am South, and the service has been excellent. So I'd recommend that we continue to work with Regions Bank.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Davidson. Do we have a motion and a second to approve this?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion by the council?
This is a multi-year agreement, yes?
It would be for 3 years with an option to renew for 1 additional year if both parties agreed to that.
All right.
We do it for that long a term. It's really very expensive and cumbersome to change banks with our accounts and stuff, so.
And I think we have 27 different checking accounts to separate all the funds. So it is a time-consuming process when you start looking at moving banks.
Okay.
And based upon our communication before, the proposals were very similar.
Very similar.
And so the
They're
cost
all-
would have been more to move it than it would have been any
And
savings.
the proposal we have from Regions would give us the net largest interest credit to our account after you back out fees and everything. So it is the best proposal in terms of pricing that we received.
Okay. Very good. Do we have a comment from the audience? If you could just come up and identify yourself and.
Zachary Papa Bolin. As far as this bank issue goes, what about, is there another one of those 2 banks that are pretty close that aren't going to make us force into a contract?
That would make us force into
No,
a contract?
that are not going to force us into a contract.
I don't think so. I mean, we're talking about awarding the proposal to the bank that gave us the best proposal.
The contract sort of protects us, does it
The
not?
contract protects us from that.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, how far off is the Tennessee bank rather than going with a more national brand? For Tennessee, how far off are they?
I mean, Regions is a local bank, and that's one of the requirements is we look for a local bank. And one of the other requirements, one of the main requirements we look for in a bank is that they participate in the state collateral pool, which eliminates the city from having to find a trustee. Banks have to put up securities to pledge the money that we have deposited with them. And so the state handles all this for cities through the state collateral pool, so we make banks participate in that. And of all the local banks, there's only 4 or 5 of those that participate in that state collateral pool. And Regions is one of them. They're a local bank. That's one of the other requirements that we ask for is you got to have a local branch, which all three of those do. But I can't see any issue with any of the other banks at all.
And Regions does give us the highest net interest.
Yep.
Okay.
Locked in.
It fluctuates. Our interest is, he asked if the interest rate's locked in. It's not. It's tied to an index, so that as interest rates climb, our interest rates climb, but as interest rates fall, like they have the last year and a half, they fall too. And that's how most cities, that's how all cities do it. They index it, the interest rates back to an index. And it's indexed to the Fed funds rate.
All right, very good. Any further comments? Any comments from the council? Seeing none, I'll vote.
4 yes votes, motion carries.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mr. Davidson. At this time, we have item 7, the presentation from the Chamber's Highlands Initiative.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to come and speak to you this evening about the Highlands Initiative. I think we have some slides to show. Is that correct? We're getting there. Good.
You want to run this, Joe?
I would. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Don't hit the red button.
Just hit the next button.
I'm just kidding.
Does it the next button?
Yeah.
If I hit one of the other buttons, does everybody eject?
Yes. Just the city
Going to
manager.
the fire station.
I'm just going to try to hit some highlights. I'm not going to read these slides, so you can put your minds at ease. It's not going to be a very long presentation. The Highlands Initiative began in 2006, a public-private sector program, Leap of Faith, and it truly was that because we didn't have a record to run on at that point in time. The purpose was to boost economic development in Overton, Putnam, and White counties. This was the first truly regional cooperative strategy that we had entered into. The initiative was very successful. We created about 2,500 new jobs over the 4-year period, and those numbers come from state ECD. And of those 2,500 jobs, we lost about 1,800 in these difficult times, but we ended up netting around 750 jobs. So we think in these tough times that was a pretty positive outcome as far as job creation goes. The city of Cookeville, during that period of time in Putnam County, purchased land for the Highlands Business Park, which was a great next step in the process of creating opportunities for us to recruit to the city and to the region. The Highlands staff in the city of Cookeville and Putnam County worked diligently to sell Oric on our community and region as the very best place for them to relocate after Katrina. We lost about 400 plus jobs with TRW, but we picked up about 650 jobs with Oric. So we had a nice net gain there, though we did hate to lose a very good corporate citizen. The Oric jobs, the Oric operation coming here was certainly a credit to the Highlands Initiative and also to the city and county for working diligently with Oric to provide a good incentive package and also a great place for them to locate. White County and Overton County have acquired lands for industrial properties also during that period of time. White County during that 4-year period gained Taco Metals and HMMI Plastics through the efforts of the Highlands staff and those communities. But there is no doubt in our mind, there's no doubt in White County's and the city of Sparta's mind leadership that this was to a great extent a product of the Highlands Initiative. Overton County recruited Hydroseer to their park, and they still have about 50 acres, I think, left in that park for development. Last fall, we opened the Highlands Visitor Center, which is a very nice addition to our Highlands concept of attracting individual people to this region. The Highlands Visitor Center has had workers, volunteers from every county in the region. We've had elected officials who have volunteered down there and served for periods of time. The mayor of Livingston is one that comes to mind. I know he's worked down there more than one time. We also attracted several retail stores and restaurants during that period of time. I think the fact that we have such a fine community and that we have all of us working together has made some of that growth possible too. We even have a Starbucks. I mean, what kind of a measure is that of success? Cookeville is the regional center for dining, shopping, healthcare, education, government services, and more. And I think all of us here recognize that. We attracted the TSSAA football playoffs that were held at Tennessee Tech. Was a great boon for this community and for the region. We attracted about 20,000 visitors and generated, we believe, about $1 million in economic impact. Putnam County was awarded the AARC certificate or certified seal of approval as a great retirement community. So that was certainly a plus for us. The fifth interchange has been a high priority of the Highlands Initiative and this community and the council and the county commission for a long time. Right-of-way purchase is now approved in this year's state budget, so I think that process will begin this year. The Highlands purchased the TVA Economic Development Database software, and we now have available all of the land basically and buildings in the three-county area available for prospects to look at online and to find out what we have available for them as possible sites for location. The Highlands, Tennessee website was launched with over 2,600 links to valuable information to assist in selling our Highlands counties to prospects. Highlands leaders have raised the bar considerably. We have an energized team of leaders in all three counties, and our new slogan, Better Together, is certainly appropriate. The slogan is a confirmation of how well the Highlands counties have worked together over the last 4 years. We have established a goal for the next 4 years of $2,500,000. Our program of work is similar to the first 4 years, but has been modified some. Bottom line, it's all about jobs, jobs, jobs first. And the Highlands Business Park and the parks in Overton and White counties will be key to our success in that effort of recruiting those new jobs. As you know, without controlling lands for economic development, prospects will not even look at us. We witnessed that. We suffered through that for several years before we got to this point. For the majority of prospects, infrastructure must be in place also, and we're about to embark on that task, I think, in the very near future. Community development and advocacy, emphasis on being the best place to live, work, and play and visit. One of the priorities will be a regional healthcare delivery system, which is new to this initiative, and we have very high expectations for what the end result would be for that effort. I think it is extremely important. Research, branding, awareness. Continue to sell the Highlands brand to the world, basically. Explain to national and international companies why they need to be located in the Highlands of Tennessee. Education and workforce development. Improve education attainment and job readiness for our workforce of the future. Every person, certainly every child, needs to understand that a high school education is not going to be enough to qualify for the jobs of the future. We must tirelessly explain to parents and children that the key to their future is continuing education after high school. This is our budget, and this is a brief breakdown of the how the monies will be spent. The total that we have to date, that we have raised, have committed to date, is $1,271,645. And we're proud of that number. We just basically kicked off the campaign, as you know, Tuesday morning. The number has increased a bit since then, but not a great deal. That's the end of my presentation. I wanted to make a couple of comments, though. We are here this evening to ask the City Council to the City of Cookeville to invest $30,000 in this fiscal year. We will be asking for your support at that level each year for the next 4 years. This is a very important investment in the marketing of the business park in our community and region. Putnam County has committed $50,000 to this project for this year. The City of Sparta has committed $25,000 for this year to the Highlands Initiative. Thank you for your time and attention and demonstrated commitment to preparing Cookeville to accommodate new industries in a quality business park. New industry will bring good-paying technology jobs to the people of Cookeville and the region. Please bear in mind that in a number of communities, the cities and counties, the public sector, fund 100% of the cost of economic development. In those communities, all of the costs that the Highlands is paying would be taxpayer expense. In the Highlands, 80% of the cost is paid by the private sector. Please seriously consider our request. We would be happy to answer questions if you have some.
I have a question. How many folks have visited the Highlands Visitor Center since it's been open? Do you have a figure on that?
Good question, and I don't have the answer.
I should have that answer at hand, and I'll be happy to get that to you.
Okay.
It's growing daily, weekly. It's becoming more and more of a place. Special events such as the TSSAA became the place where people come to start. But I should have that number. I will get that to council.
Any other questions?
I would just comment, looking at the 4 different areas of these initiatives, the education and workforce development, I think that is a vital part. I mean, that is so needed, so needed. And I mean, I don't guess you have got to the point or have any ideas of how you're going to start working on getting these partners together. I'm sure Tennessee Tech's got to be a big partner in that.
We are involved in that, but George, you might be better to comment on that than me.
First, thank you for what you do every day on behalf of our community and citizens and economic development in all aspects, and certainly your support of the Chamber. We've been at work for several months right now. It's actually more than 3 counties. We have Jackson County involved, and DeKalb County is getting involved, but the school superintendents, the community, all of our stakeholders, starting with Tennessee Tech, the community colleges, our K through 12 school systems. We're meeting. We started with if you remember, a high school dropout study that was funded through our Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development. We then, through the first Highlands, commissioned with a grant from ARC or either USDA about a $40,000 comprehensive workforce development study. Now we have the information and the data that we need, and the plan in phase 2 is to really get into the implementation phase. That, you know, as you well know, it's about jobs. You've got to have a place to put them, but you've got to have a workforce, and that's going to be a key focus. We, as you know, we're one of 2 states in the nation now that got the $500 million, so there's an emphasis at the state level, and we're doing that now. So yes, that's very, very critical, and it's going to be a major component of this next Highlands.
I just think to make all these others work,
without a workforce, the rest is moot. It's all about education. Thank you.
Well, I'd like to say appreciate your all's hard work, and you know it's interesting you see in the photos for the marketing package that you're doing for the next campaign. Is you say together, but there's a lot of people in the photo, and as a community, we've been able to do a lot together over the last several years, and so it's exciting to see that. We'd like to encourage you to continue to do that, and I agree with Vice Mayor Davis. You know, when you held at the Chamber the education forum, we all participated there. I think coming out of that with some opportunities for business owners to participate in education by going and spending time at our high schools and different places, encouraging kids in what we as professionals do on a daily basis. And so I know that I received emails at work. I don't know that I have a lot to offer a teenager, but there are opportunities where you can get involved and encourage other kids to look at different avenues of work. And so I was really encouraged to see that in my office last week. So I'd like to encourage the citizens to get involved. You never know just what one word might encourage a child to go into education or in telecommunications or into nursing. So it's exciting. It's part of being in the community, and so we thank you for your hard work.
Yeah, thank you.
Very good. It's been impressive to see over the last 4 years the cohesion among the 3 counties and the cities involved in those counties and the result that we've yielded from that. So thank you. Keep up the work. Any other comments about the Highlands Initiative? Anybody have their checkbook tonight?
Feel free to.
At this time, at the end of our meetings, we always open up the floor for up to 3 minutes for citizens and/or delegations to come and speak, and you are more than welcome at any time to our council meetings, first and third Thursdays. And if you would like, you can come and approach the lectern and speak for up to 3 minutes. And I'll also, while the audience is thinking, I'll also open up the floor to the city council if you have any comments or announcements.
I'd like to recognize a former student and a present student. Ian is here tonight to work on advancement in his scouting career, and Mr. Gall back there is here to get a little extra credit, which he really doesn't need, but it's always good to get the extra credit. We just finished a unit on the Living Constitution, and I think it's a good idea for the students to come and see what government does, and this is just the tip of the iceberg here, and all of you are welcome to come to our budget committee meetings when we start in pretty soon, just right around the corner here, and see how that goes. So thank you, gentlemen, for coming tonight.
Any other comments? Yes, sir. If you just identify yourself again. And
Zachary Bolin. I've been here before about the sign issue. And I believe in this time with the election and everything going on, and we're allowing government and political signs up everywhere, let's go ahead and just, how about we suspend the sign ordinance until August and go ahead and let businesses grow during this time. I mean, this is tough economic times, and if it's all about looks, take a look around. There's not a one of you that can look me straight in the eye and say that this city does not look bad with all the political signs that are up. Whether they're in code or not, it doesn't matter. You guys have a customer parking sign right outside that's bent and against your own regulations. So what I urge you guys to do is at the next council meeting that we go ahead and suspend the ordinance for the period till the end of about August 5th, where we'll relook at it.
all right, thank you. We appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Quite frankly, as somebody who's getting ready to run for a seat on the city council, I'd love for us to have an ordinance that says we can't have any of those signs. That'd save me a ton of money and a ton of effort, but I wish there was some other way to get the word out.
Really, I hadn't noticed any signs.
Well, none of mine will go up till June 1st.
I won't have one of them at all.
Any further comments by the council? Seeing no further comments, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. And Ricky's not here tonight, so.
Adjourn.
All right.
So moved.